Okay, February 28th, Leviticus 22:17 through 23:44. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, Whatever a man of the house of Israel or of the strangers of Israel who offers a sacrifice for any other vows or for any of his farewell offerings, which the which they offer to the Lord as a burnt offering, you shall offer of your own free will a male without blemish from the cattle, from the sheep, or from the goats. Whatever has defect you shall not offer, for it shall not be acceptable on your behalf. And whoever offers a sacrifice of peace offering to the Lord to fulfill his vow, or a free will offering from the cattle or from the sheep, it must be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no defect in it. Those who are blind or broken or maimed or have an ulcer or a eczema or scabs, you shall not offer it to the Lord, but make an offering by fire of them on nor make an offering by fire of them on the altar of the Lord, either a bull or a lamb that has any limb too long or too short, or may you may offer as a free will offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. You shall not offer to the Lord what is bruised or crushed or torn or cut, nor shall you make any offering of them in your land, nor from a foreigner's hand shall you offer any of these as the bread of your God, because of the corruption that is in them and the defects that are in them. They shall not be accepted on your behalf. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, When a bull or a sheep or a goat is born, it shall be 7 days with its mother, and from the eighth day, and therefore it shall be accepted as an offering made by fire to the Lord. Whether it is a cow or a ewe, do not kill both her and her young on the same day. And you shall offer the sacrifice of thanksgiving to the Lord. Offer it of your own free will. On the same day it shall be eaten. You shall leave none of it until morning. I am the Lord. Therefore, you shall keep my commandments and perform them. I am the Lord. You shall not profane my name, my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am the Lord who sanctifies you, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying to them, The feasts of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be a holy convocation, these are my feasts. 6 days work shall be done, but on the seventh day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwelling. These are the feasts of the Lord, the holy convocations, which you shall proclaim at the appointed times on the 14th day on the first month of the twilight of the Lord's Passover, and on the 15th day of the same month of the feast of unleavened bread to the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall have a holy convocation, and you shall do no customary work on it, but you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord for 7 days. The seventh day shall be a holy convocation, and you shall do no customary work on it. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you come into the land which I give you, and reap its harvest, then you shall bring a sheaf of its firstfruits of the harvest to the priest. He shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted on your behalf. On the day after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it, and you shall offer it on that day. When you wave the sheaf, a male lamb on the first year, without blemish, as a burnt offering to the Lord. It is a grain offering. Its grain offering shall be 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with oil, an offering made by fire to the Lord, for a sweet aroma. And its drink offering shall be wine, 1/4 of a hin. You shall eat neither bread nor parched grain nor fresh grain until the same day you have brought an offering to your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And you shall count for yourselves from the day after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be completed. Count 50 days on the day after the seventh Sabbath. Then you shall offer new grain offerings to the Lord. You shall bring it from your dwellings, 2 waves of loaves and 2 tenths of an ephah. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baked with leaven. They are the first fruits of the Lord, and they shall offer with bread 7 lambs of the first year without blemish, 1 young bull and 2 rams. They shall be as a burnt offering to the Lord, with their grain offering and their drink offering, an offering made by fire for a sweet aroma to the Lord. Then you shall sanctify 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering, and 2 male lambs of the first year as a sacrifice of peace offering. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the firstfruits as a wave offering before the Lord with the 2 lambs. They shall be holy to the Lord for the priest. And you shall proclaim on the same day that it is a holy convocation for you, and you shall do no customary work on it. It shall be a statute forever, all your dwellings throughout your generations. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of your field when you reap, nor shall you gather any gleanings from your harvest. You shall leave them for the poor and for the stranger. I am the Lord your God. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, It is the 7th month, on the first day of the month. You shall have a Sabbath rest, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work on it, and you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, And also on the 10th day of the 7th month shall be a day of atonement. It is a holy convocation for you, and you shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. And you shall do no work on it on that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make atonement for you before the Lord your God. For any persons who do is not afflicted in the soul on that same day shall be cut off from his people. And any person who does not work on that same day, the person I will destroy from among his people. You shall do no work you shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. It shall be to you a Sabbath of solemn rest, and you shall afflict your souls. On the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening to evening, you shall celebrate your Sabbath. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days to the Lord. On the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and you shall do no customary work on it. For 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. On the 8th day you shall have a holy convocation, and shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. It is sacred. It is a sacred assembly, and you shall do no customary work on it. These are the feasts of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire to the Lord, a burnt offering and a grain offering and a sacrifice and a drink offering, everything on its day, besides the Sabbath to the Lord, besides your gifts, besides your all your vows, and besides your free will offerings which you will give to the Lord. Also the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the fruit of the land, you shall keep the feast of the Lord for 7 days. On the first day there shall be a Sabbath rest. On the 8th day a Sabbath rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day of the fruit of the beautiful trees, branches and palms, and boughs of leafy trees and willows of the brook, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God for 7 days. You shall keep its feast to the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native Israelites shall dwell in booths in your generations, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So Moses declared to the children of Israel the feasts of the Lord. Mark 9:30 through 10:12. Then they departed from there and passed through Galilee. He did not want anyone to know it, for he taught his disciples and said to them, The Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of men, and they will kill him. And after he is killed, he will rise on the 3rd day. But they did not understand this saying, and they were afraid to ask him. When he had come to Capernaum, and he was in the house, he asked them, what was it you disputed among yourselves on the road? But they kept silent, for on the road they had disputed among themselves who would be the greatest. He sat down and called the 12 and said to them, if anyone desires to be the first, he shall be the last of all, a servant of all. And he took a little child and set him in the midst of them. And he said to them, and when he had taken him into his arms, he said, whoever receives these little children in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but him who sent me. Now John answered him, saying, Teacher, we saw someone who does not follow you casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him because he does not follow us. And Jesus said, do not forbade him, for no one who works a miracle in my name can soon afterwards speak evil of me. For he who is not against us is on our side, and whoever gives you a cup of water to drink in my name, because you belong to Christ, assuredly I say to you, he will by no means lose his reward. But whoever causes one of these little ones to stumble, to believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter into life maimed rather than having two hands and go to hell into the fire that shall never be quenched, where the worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. And if your foot causes you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life lame rather than having 2 feet to be cast into hell, for the into into the fire that shall never be quenched, where the worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. And if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. It is better for you to enter the kingdom of God with one eye rather than having 2 eyes and be cast into hell fire, where the worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. For everyone will be seasoned with fire, and every sacrifice will be seasoned with salt. Salt is good, but if salt loses its flavor, how will you season it? Have salt in yourselves and have peace with one another. Then he arose from there and came into the region of Judea by the other side of the Jordan, and multitude gathered to him again. And he was as he was accustomed, he taught them again. And the Pharisees came and asked him, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife, testing him? And he answered and said to them, what did Moses command you? They said, Moses permitted a man to write a certificate of divorce and to dismiss her. And Jesus answered and said to them, because of the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no man separate. In the house, the disciples also asked him again about the same matter. And he said, whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her. And if the woman divorces a husband and marries another, she commits adultery. Psalms 44, 1 through 8. This is a compilation of the contemplation of the sons of Korah. We have heard with our eyes, O God. Our fathers have told us the deeds you did in the days of old. You drove out the nations with your hand, but them you planted. You afflicted the peoples and cast them out, for they did not gain possession of the land by their own sword, nor did their own arm save them. But it was your right hand, your right arm, and the light of your countenance, because you favored them. You are my God, you are my King, O God. Command victories for Jacob. Though you will push down our enemies, though your name will trample those who rise up against us. For I will not trust in my bow, nor will my sword save me. But you have saved us from our enemies. You have put the shame of those who hated us. In God we boast all day long, and praise your name forever. Selah. Proverbs 10:19. In a multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. All right, we completed another month, so we've got 2 months done. So we're 1/6 of the way done. Uh, I just wanted to say too, with the feast that we talked about, I know the feasts are a picture of God's salvation, and I'm gonna see if I can remember this. Um, so the Passover was a picture of Christ's redemption, to Christ's um, ministry on earth and our salvation. He was the Lamb of God, which said, "Bring a lamb without blemish," and the lamb was sacrificed to cover our sins. And um, and during the Passover time, the Israelites, the first Passover, they posted the blood of the lamb on the post on their doorposts, which we post the blood of the Lamb of Jesus on our doorposts of our hearts, and then the spirit of death goes over us. Yes, we die physically, but our spirits are saved with that sacrifice. And then the Feast of First Fruits is a picture of Pentecost and the Holy Spirit coming down and being on us. And then we're the first fruits of of the new kingdom. And then there's that big gap, which kind of like the church age. And then I'm not forgetting any of these, but then we have the feast for 7 days, and it's a time of reflection, and it's a picture of the end times. And the Day of Atonement is the great day of judgment that God's going to judge us. After that Day of Atonement, then the Feast of Tabernacles comes up, and the Feast of Tabernacles, when they lived in booths, it's to celebrate. Hey, this is how the Israelites lived, as it said, when God brought them out of Egypt. Just as when Christ comes back and we're resurrected and we're serving in His kingdom, that's going to be a time for us to remember how God took us out of the world. All right, I will see y'all tomorrow.